But there were times I had to get him man-to-man.
And your favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
It's like the games like you play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks. When they had Jamarcus Russell, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 3 sacks on them. In the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to West War Room Rivals. I am your host, Cody. I'm joined by the Shoviks, the brothers in the opposite screen. They are representing their KU gear because we have got a KU football player in the queue waiting to come on. Before we do that, though, we're going to get some sponsor shout-outs. If you're noticing there's only 3 of us in 2 screens, that's because Matt is on work obligations right now. He's on timeout duty right now for the Navy. And Caleb, our comrade, he is over. He had a work trip, and I think he returned. He's spending time with the family. So it's just the 3 of us on screen tonight, and we're going to still bring you all the greatest of West War Room Rivals as we can do. Gentlemen, how was your guys' evening so far?
Yeah, it's been great, and I'm very, very excited for tonight's episode, and I hope my mom gets on here because I got a couple things I want her to hear me ask.
Yeah, man, we ate ribeyes for dinner to prepare for how hyped we were for this, so we're ready to go.
All right, right on. All right, let's give some sponsor shout-outs. We'll get going. So shout out to Vidite Coffee. Go to viditecoffee.com today to get your supply of the official War Room coffee, or you can go to Amazon and purchase Vidite Coffee as well. Or you can visit Rival Codes, use Rivals10 to get 10% off your gear. It is not just apparel, it is territory. So go and check it out at rivalcodes.com. Also, my fellow Raider comrade, Troy, and the crew over at Field Ops, go give them a follow and check them out and inquire about getting Field Ops as your sports lines organization that helps get your markings going for your leagues. So Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Angie and the team, shout out to you guys for being day one supporters, and Jeff and the crew from JBW Solutions as we are recording out of the JBW Solutions studio. Austin and Corey both have the hat right now. I don't have my hat on right now. It was a good hair day, so that's my excuse.
There you go.
Anyways, guys, we are doing too much chit-chatting right now. We're going to bring in our guest of the evening. Again, he is an offensive guard at the University of Kansas, Rock Chaw, as my comrades would say. We're going to bring on Kobe Baynes. Kobe, how you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, man. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah, it's good to be here.
So I do want to start off real quick. I'm going to go a little off script because I know my mom's watching, and we grew up in a household of Sooner fans. And before we hopped on, we were talking a little back and forth, and you mentioned something that still stands very proud with me because KU obviously beat Oklahoma. So I want you to kind of describe what that atmosphere was like after you beat Oklahoma, and then give my mom a good rock chalk.
It was a great environment. The city of Lawrence is one of my favorite places I've ever been. It really treated me great. And just you felt the energy from the start. The fan base was ecstatic. I mean, I remember us kind of heading to the locker room, and it was just the moral support that we got from the fans is something I'll never forget. Everybody was so happy, and rock chalk. So
that's all I'm talking about.
Oh, man, this is awesome.
Although Mama Shovik right now is throwing some shade out right now, so she's just letting it known, and also threw a little jab in there. But
hey, Kobe wasn't there 26 years, all right, so that doesn't matter.
That's right. History is rewritten.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we had to get that in. We have a family full of Sooner fans, unfortunately, so we were the 2 smart ones. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in, kind of a welcome to the War Room and kind of get to know you a little bit before really diving in. So for the fans who may not know your full journey, kind of give us your football journey, and then when did you realize that football could take you to the NFL?
I started playing football about my 6th grade year. I took an off year in my 7th grade year. Then I started playing again my 8th grade year. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised. After that, I started playing in high school. I played on varsity my 9th grade year, and then I kind of stayed there throughout my time. Being recruited, I was highly recruited. I had offers all over the country. I was recruited mainly by Miami, South Carolina, Florida State, Virginia Tech. I ended up picking Louisville because I just felt like the culture there was really good. I felt like the coaches were fantastic. I was being recruited by a really good offensive line coach and Dwayne Ledford, and he was somebody that I really wanted to play for. So I headed to Louisville. I was there for about 2 years, and then during that time, I decided I wanted to make a change and get to a spot where I wanted to really play more. And then Coach Satterfield ended up leaving that year, so I decided Kansas. Coach Leipold right away embraced me. It was something where I wanted to be in a good situation, and Coach Leipold always told me what it was and how it was, and so it was just eager for me to kind of get going.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Coach Leipold here shortly, because what he's been able to do with this program's been top notch. And I know people can say it's been a couple down years, but to me, that's not really the case in what he's been able to do, which leads me into this question right here, because you look at Dom Pooney, Austin Booker, Devin Neal, like KU guys are getting to the NFL now. So what's it like representing Kansas on this stage?
It's great. I mean, like you said, those three guys before you, I mean, Bryce Cable, like just being in the room with those guys and seeing the hard work that they put in and seeing that the belief that the culture around the building has. And I think that's the mindset of, we're not the old Kansas, we're the new Kansas. It's a new era. And I think that video of JD saying a new era is solemnly true because of what we were able to do and just our mentality. And it's a great way to represent this school, this university. It's been a home for me. I loved every second of just being there, going to basketball games, being around the city of Lawrence, the campus. Like, I fell in love with it instantly. So
that's pretty cool.
Kansas is all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we already planned that we're going to have to visit it ourselves because we got, golfing and barbecue to do. So, we'll have to go over there. So Kobe, in this journey that you've gone through from discovering that you're, pretty good at football to then pursuing it and being at a top school like KU, who has been your biggest supporter and who's been in your corner throughout this whole journey?
I would say my parents. They've been a kind of a shining light for me. They always believed in what I've been able to do. And then just the people back home, coming from Jacksonville, Florida, I've had a lot of support, from my friends from high school, and people around the city have always supported my journey and what I've been able to do. And so it just shows that people are out there, looking up to me, and that I can always just put my best foot forward and not worried about either failing a task or succeeding it, because I know at the end of the day, I have people that have my back.
Yeah. I got a follow-up for you regarding, the supporters. Did you have a mentor that you've gravitated towards that has kind of brought you along the way through this point of your journey?
Yeah, my offensive line coach in high school was Donald Rocker. He ended up passing away in 2021, and he was somebody that always helped me in my life and just getting football down, learning offensive line at a really at a high level. Like, when you're in high school, you kind of you get on an angle and you block them where you find them. But it was learning that steps. It was getting that second step down. It was learning the nuances of playing against D linemen and how to set guys. And that was just something that really just expanded my world of offensive line, and it made me kind of fall in love with it, being obsessed with it. And that was something that I always prided myself on. It was just being obsessed with the game.
Man, I love that. We're going to transition into our next segment, trench warfare. As these fellas know, my favorite part of a football game is the trenches. I'm the guy when people say, who's MVP, I'm picking an offensive lineman or defensive lineman. So we're going to have some trench questions. Yeah, that's why I'm excited. Not only Rock Chalk, baby, but you live in the trenches, so I'm excited about that. But how would you describe your play style to fans?
I would just say hungry. I feel like play with the edge. That's something I've always prided myself on. Like when I'm in the huddle and I hear a play call, and specifically if it's a pull, if I get a pull and I get a chance to go run and hit somebody, that's my favorite point. Just being gritty, being almost like a sea bass, just trying to get out and just snug people out, get from under people. And that's just been my way of play style my whole career. Just play edge, play fast. Like, I was always told as a kid, if you're gonna mess up a play, mess up going 100%. Never have that back of the head. Oh, what if I mess up here? Just go ahead and attack at full speed. So that's been something that I prided myself on.
It's good advice.
One thing that I want to point out is you're part of an offensive line, and you guys average almost 200 yards rushing a game. And to do that, I mean, you guys got to have some guys up front that are willing to put in that work. So, kind of walk us through, kind of your mindset, knowing, hey, this might be a run-heavy game where we know our boys are going to get the ball and we're going to have to do our job up front.
Yeah, like I want to give a shout out to all my offensive linemen: Bryce Foster, Enrique Cruz, Calvin Clements, Amir Herring, Tavake Tuavatu. Just all those guys. They put in so much work throughout the week, and we're such a tight knit family. I mean, we always would meet after practice. We would always get together and watch film, and even the night before the game, we would always meet as a group. And that was something of us that like we wanted to all have that same page, same mentality, like this is it. Every game we would count down of how we're going to end this and what's coming up next. And that was kind of like never be afraid in that moment. That was something that we always prided ourselves on. So it was just a mentality standpoint for us. And our offensive line coach Egg Paulsa did a great job of kind of getting us fired up. And it's just, it's been like that for my whole time being there from 22 to 25. Just being around good offensive linemen, Dominic Pooney, Logan Brown, Bryce Cabedu, Michael Ford Jr., just having those guys in the room where, who taught me and I'm able to teach the young guys now. So it's just been great.
Yeah.
Isn't Cable Dude Super Bowl champ now?
Oh, yeah. Him and Logan Brown, Super Bowl
Logan Brown,
champions.
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. And again, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, like, yes, the KU wins weren't where that you guys expected, but at the end of the day, you guys are still playing for a coach who's getting you guys to that next step, your next level. Your dreams continue to go through. And I mentioned my favorite game while you were at KU. What was your favorite game playing at KU and why?
So mine was Colorado. The stakes weren't, if you go back and look at the midseason point, it wasn't crazy stakes. It was just, we knew that this team was hot. They were coming in with the lights, cameras, action. It was going to be it was going to be on Fox. It was going to be a big game for us. Warren Sapp made some comments about our quarterback and what we were able to do before the game. And that night before, they put it on a loop for us. So we would watch it. And it was just, it's cemented in my brain. And I'm pretty sure it's cemented in all the other offensive lineman game. Like, if any game we have this season is going to be a masterpiece, this is going to be the game. And I can't remember the numbers, but I know we put up a bunch. I think Devin Neal broke the all-time leading rushing in Kansas history. He put up, I think, like 200 yards, maybe 100 and something yards.
No, it's like 230.
230, yeah. Like we put up. I mean, it was a fantastic game. Everybody played lights out on offense. You got the Heisman candidate, the Heisman winner over there, on the other side. And it just made for a really great game. You got Deion Sanders across the field. And it was just an exciting time, playing in Arrowhead. It made the stakes were really high for that game, just for us. And if I could say a second one, I would say BYU. In 24, we go up to BYU, number 6 in the country. There's sold out stadium, 70,000. It was really cold out. It was like 20 degrees, maybe. It was super cold. I'm a Florida boy, so I was kind of, I was like, oh, it's kind of cold out here. And BYU has a great fan base. Their fans are fantastic. They did such a good job. Even when we're in a hostile environment, they did such a great job of just, not cursing us out. So I would always say, BYU fans are fantastic. So that was a great game as well.
I think that's because it's against their Mormon beliefs. So that's probably why they didn't cuss you guys out.
Yeah, so shout out to them.
Kobe popped a dude.
I'm sorry, say that again?
No, that was the game at Lawrence.
That was
that was the one where Kobe Bryant popped that dude.
Yeah, that was 23. That was 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was their welcome to Big 12 moment right
That's
there.
Oh, yeah. That game was also fun, too. So
That's incredible. All right. So who's the toughest defensive lineman that you faced so far in college?
I would have to it's a tandem. I would say Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy in 23. I started that game. It was against, I think they were number 5. They were top 5 ranking wise in the nation. It was in Austin, Texas. Sold out 110,000. It was one of the hottest games that year. I think it was like 109 at kickoff. I remember specifically, we're going out to warm-ups and I'm getting my pass sets in, working my drills, and I can just feel the heat underneath my cleats. Like my cleats were so hot, and it was just a game where, going into it, like we had the game plan, we had what we were gonna do, but you always have a game plan until someone hits you in the mouth. And it was a game that I personally always like to go back on and, I wouldn't say I had a bad game, but I didn't have a perfect game. And going against those guys, NFL draft picks, Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, if you put them in a room together, they're like opposite on the spectrum. One's more of a heavy run stopper, a big load, and one's kind of a quick twitch, get to his spot, And so it was kind of like a test for me as an offensive guard, specifically in the inside, because Tavondre Sweat was a big power rusher and Byron Murphy was a quick twitch guy. He would always use kind of like a mini Aaron Donald in a sense, like had good finesse moves. So it was really a task for me. So that's a game that I always look back on. Like the competition was at the highest it's ever been for me.
And with that, do you watch games on Sunday and see some of these guys that you played against in college, and you're like, yeah, I actually held my own pretty well against those guys?
Oh yeah, even watching the Super Bowl, shout out to Byron Murphy. He's a fantastic player, and it was no gruff between us. He's just one of the he's an exceptional defensive tackle, and he's somebody that probably played in the league for a long time because of the way he plays, his bend, his motor, his flexibility, and just his overall twitch is fantastic. I mean, and so it was a great game. Sadly, we lost, but I really I enjoy looking back on that time and saying like I got to play at Texas, sold out crowd, top 5 team in the nation. It was fantastic. So,
yeah, unfortunately, there isn't anything like Texas heat. Like even though you're from Florida, Texas does hit a little different.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, what's the most underrated part, or maybe just a part of playing guard that casual fans maybe just don't understand? Whether it's pulling next level, a little bit more than just hike and hit the dude in front of you type thing. So what part of playing guard?
I was just saying, like playing guard is like imagine being in like a movie theater and you're in like the middle, or imagine you're being on a plane and you're in the middle seat and there's 2 people next to you and you have to know what each person is doing next to you, but knowing that you can't help too much of either one of them because you're going to end up messing up yourself. It's kind of like it's knowing when to give help and when not to give too much help. And I would also say just the nuances, like let's say that it's 3rd down and you have a wide 3 technique. So I have a defender that's wide out against me and I have to almost set this guy knowing that I don't have much room to give up, because if I do, I'm right in the quarterback's lap. It's going to affect JD, Jason Bean, quarterbacks I've played with throughout my career. It's going to affect them. And the worst type of pressure that I would say for a quarterback is the one that's up in the middle, because it's the pressure he can't really he feels it he feels it first. He doesn't really see it. I mean, so once that pressure is up in his face, it's hard for him to make a move and get up out the pocket. So we were always taught that the guards they keep in the depth of the pocket, the interior, and the tackle is trying to widen it. So I would say just understanding how much space really is back there, that you can't really give up too much, and you have to stand your ground, like protect them at all costs.
Well, I think when you're looking at that too, because you got your offensive, you're calling it right. You have your signals that you're giving out, and you're making sure, and you're also trying to make sure, okay, they're disguising something, so you're like, okay, you got to be kind of quick, because it could be I'm going this way, but here's a guy coming all of a sudden this way. You got to make that quick kind of decision. So kind of walk us through, say your center's making the count. What is going through your mind in that point?
At my point, let's say that if Bryce Foster, he's making our call, he's miking out who we're going to. Let's say he's miking 44. We're sliding to the left here, so I'm on the man side. I'm the right guard. I have this shade technique or a two. I'm by myself. I have no help on this play, meaning that Bryce can't give me a hand because he's sliding to the protection, and my right tackle is also blocking manned out. So it's almost like I'm on an island, but the island that I have is so much quicker than a tackle's island because it's happening now. Like when you're at tackle and you have a guy coming from a five technique, you have a little more grace to kind of get there. For me, it's almost I have to be quick, I have to be sudden. So just understanding, like me, my first thing I'm looking at the defender's knees. I'm looking at his footwork. I'm looking at what foot does he have up, and this all comes from a week of game tape. Watching him. Whoever I'm playing against that week, I watch all their games. I watch who they play against. I like specifically like to see what game did they do best in, and what game did they do worst in. So ESPN.com is a favorite of mine during the season. See
All
what
right.
guys' stats are. So that's just a tad bit that what I like to do.
And I'm honestly, I'm having a blast with this right now. I could
Yeah.
keep going with random questions, but we'll get back here on track. So the last question of this segment, what's your biggest personal improvement from your first snap at KU to your last one?
I would say that's a good question. I would say my hand placement. I think my hand placement, early on in my career, I like to do this thing my coach called bear hugging, or giving them a hug, offensive linemen hugging guys like this, and learning how to strike inside, get inside of his breastplate, inside of his chest plate, get on the numbers on him, and just, lifting, forklifting, and just creep setting, where I call creep, it's more of a short set, meaning I take space away from the defender. I don't allow these big guys to get rolling and get going up. And so just taking that away from them.
That's incredible.
Gets me hyped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all that you've learned then, so talk to us about what your reaction was when you got the invite to the American Bowl.
It was pretty good. I mean, to truth be told, I wanted another invite to some more games, but I understood that I got a chance to play with Bryce and Enrique for one last time, and that meant the most to me. Playing with those guys, being with them every day, playing with Bryce for 2 years, Enrique for a year, like I really made bonds with these guys, and just having that, I get a chance to play with them and put on a KU helmet one last time, like. That chance, I'll always be thankful for that, because I really love this school. The KU did so much for me, and I made it a home of mine. And the fans, whenever my family would visit, they would make sure they feel at home. And it was just somewhere like I could always see myself coming back to Lawrence, Kansas, and enjoying a game. So
that gave me goosey. Sorry, I know my question's next, but but to the football side of it. Were you going into that wanting to maybe show the scouts or coaches something from you that maybe they weren't able to see at KU enough?
I was just kind of going in, just doing what I do. I feel like I have good tape. My past 3 years of just starting at Kansas, I feel like I have some of the best tape out there. I haven't let up a sack in my career, and that was just something I prided myself personally on. And just playing with the edge, going out there and just hitting guys, playing through the whistle, that was something, a big thing of mine. And just, going down there and playing against good level talent, get a chance to play against guys I've never seen before, helmets I've never played against. So that's always been something of mine that, I was always proud of myself on.
Yeah, and with that, seeing maybe, the competition that you hadn't seen at Kansas, was there maybe someone you maybe did a one-on-one against that, you kind of were like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be different?
It was a couple guys that really, really stood out. I mean, we'll be here all day naming them. I thought, the Iowa, I forgot his name. His last name Graves. He's a really good player. He's a good player. Somebody I never would have played at Kansas. There's a Michigan cat. I forgot his name. He was also somebody I never would have played at Kansas. So just seeing different players, different archetypes of players. Defensive tackle wise. You guys, you got power rushers. You got finesse players. You got guys that are kind of in the middle. You got run stoppers. You got guys that are, I call them third down cats. Like they thrive on third down. Like they give twitch off the ball. And then you got a guy where he has all those traits kind of molded into one. So it was a good experience.
So when you were at the American Bowl, was there any other like offensive linemen that you maybe got to connect with and like kind of pick each other's brains about how, you got to share with this individual, like how you do your technique, and maybe another guy that you admire, and just kind of almost kind of connect and see how to improve your games from like a different aspect?
Oh yeah, I mean, like specifically the our team that we were on, I felt like we were so connected in the O-line room. I mean, Mason Murphy out of Auburn, he was fantastic. He was my roommate when I was down there. Great dude, loving talking with him. Alan Hearn from Maryland, he was another guy that I really connected with. Just overall, I forgot his last name. He played at Mizzou, center at Mizzou. it was just, learning, seeing guys from different parts of the country and just talking up with guys, talking ball. When we were down there, they had a bus just for the O line. So the O lines from both team would always hop on the buses together. So, O lineman meet, it's kind of like we're talking shop. And so it was great, uh, Austin Lilelu from BYU. He's a right guard. I was really talking with him about his technique. I watched a lot of BYU games specifically because they'll play a lot of Big 12 teams like we play. So I would always watch the right guard at BYU.
Mm-hmm.
He was notoriously known for doing a snatch technique, and he probably has the best snatch I've seen in college. And he's just a maestro at it, and just kind of digging his brain about, okay, how does he set up guys to do the snatch? Because defensive linemen watch film too. They know he's going to do the snatch, but he's so good at just getting the hands down, and putting these guys in the dirt. And so, it was really great talking shop.
That's awesome. One last question about the American Bowl, and this is kind of more in the same vein of, so that was on a positional level, on like a scheme and a playbook. How valuable was it to get to learn from different coaches and get to absorb all this like new information from, different coaches about playbooks and schemes and all that?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, just they ran a pro style offense. So typically in college, most of our lingo was going off of names or terms or different things. In this playbook, everything was off the number, or it was kind of a mixture of both. The cadence was different. Playing under center. Just knowing that like the quarterback has a longer drop. Here. In quick game, the ball's out in 3 steps, or in certain situations, the ball could be out in 5. So it was kind of cool just learning different lingo, playing different ways. And offensive line is one of those unique things where, it's 100 ways to skin a cat. It's 100 ways to run inside zone. So you have all these guys coming from different schools. How can we all get them to run the same type of inside zone? And so it was just cool learning that and just being around football for a week and just, especially having my guys down there, my center and my right tackle. It was fantastic. I'm with those boys every day. And so just to have them down there with me, experiencing that, it was so great.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that. We're going to hop into the next segment a little maybe film and skill set talk. But first one, when it comes to run blocking or pass blocking, which one do you feel you're the most dominant at?
I would say pass blocking. I feel like the nuances of pass is I understand it to a T. Like, I'm so good at picking up games and understanding what I have to do on this play. That's something I always prided myself on, just being that ability to kind of get going. Passing concepts, defensive fronts, like even if they try to switch something up on me, I always stay key to my assignments. And that's just been something that I always prided myself on. Like that's the first thing I learned as offensive lineman was pass blocking. I think everybody who plays O-line wants to have a little Trent Williams in them. And so Trent's notoriously known for being a good run blocker and a good pass blocker, but he has some of the best feet in history of playing offensive line. So just trying to mimic him in that sense of, being a good offensive pass setter.
There you go, Mom. There's your Oklahoma talk for the night. So let's get into the mentality of when you're getting that, the assignment to pull and or get to the next level. What's going through your mind?
First thing I always think about is I never get too amped up. I never get too excited because I don't want to blow my play too quickly. Like I understand that as an offensive play caller, when you call a pull or a counter or a power, you expect that to be blocked perfectly. And if it doesn't go the right way, the offensive play caller doesn't want to go back to it. So I understand that it's almost like a dance in a sense, like I have to kind of slow it down in my mind first, but I'm moving 100 miles per hour. The big thing I look at when I pull is I like to watch their numbers, or I like to look at the logo of whatever school they're wearing or whatever the word. I try to focus that on my point. And I try not to get, like I said, I don't get too trigger happy. I don't pull my trigger quick. I understand, size the guy up and get my hands inside. I try not to leave with my helmet. Better said than done. So, try to get my hands inside and drive my feet. And just getting there quickly, but getting there proficiently. Like I said, you don't want that play caller to strive away from calling that play, because in the back of his mind he's saying, okay, the guard missed the kick out here. Can we call this again? So just having that play call, having that mentality with me.
That's cool. What's your hand technique philosophy when it comes to pass protection?
For me, I like to if I'm blocking a guy from depth, I like to get on him quickly. I like to take space. If I'm almost pass setting a 3 technique, I like to do 1-2. I like to play with independent hands. Very guys like the different. Some coaches like the double clamp. Some coaches like for you to forklift, like get underneath and draw and pick them up almost. It depends on the situation. For me, I like to use everything in my toolbox. Like if I have a bull rusher, I like to if I know this guy is a bull rusher, he's gonna go straight down the pipe. Okay, I'm gonna get on this guy quickly. I'm gonna get underneath him and I'm gonna lift up. So I'm gonna take all that force he's bringing into me. I'm gonna lift it up to the air. So it just takes the air out the balloon.
Carrying him like a child, I see, huh?
Yes, sir.
Man, I appreciate the insights like that. Like I love it and thoroughly enjoy it. I could listen to that on repeat for days. But is there an NFL player, past or present, that you kind of model your game after, or study tape or anything like that?
I would say for me, it's a mixture of a lot of guys. This is gonna like David DeCastro.
Okay,
he's a guard that played for Pittsburgh for a couple years. He has some of the best pulling tape I've ever watched. Him and Ryan Jensen are 2 guys where I really try to model my pulling after, and just their meanness. Like Ryan Jensen, if you ever watch him, he played for the Buccaneers, played for the Ravens. He was a prick on the field. Like he really was. He was a nasty, dirty dog in the trenches. And he was somebody that didn't take no crap from nobody. Modern day guards, I really like Trey Smith from the Chiefs. He's a really good player. Tyler Smith as well from the Cowboys. And just a host of guys like to watch. The first offensive lineman that I ever wanted to ever be like was Trent Williams. Then I realized I wasn't going to be 6'5", so I kind of had to find somebody within my mold. And I wasn't going to play tackle, and my days of playing tackle were very short. So just finding guards that, like I said, Ryan Jensen, David DeCastro, these guys who just play with an edge on them.
Yeah, I remember Jensen because obviously that was when Tom Brady was there as well, and dude gets his helmet ripped off and he's still just trucking and he's still just your helmet's off, he's like, I don't care, and he's facing up with guys without. He's just like, I'm not gonna back down. Hit Tom late, he's the first one there. It's just like one of those mindsets of I'm doing my part, you're gonna have to live with it because I'm gonna be in your ass all day. So I absolutely love hearing that. So and you had mentioned playing tackle and whatnot. So how important is versatility, kind of playing multiple spots?
It's something that I always wanted to be. I in high school, I played left tackle, right tackle. I played guard. I was kind of a situational thing in high school. For me, when I got to Louisville, I played a little tackle at first for about that first year. Then I teetered away and started playing guard. When I got to Kansas, my first snap ever in a game at Kansas was at tackle. And so playing tackle, having sweet feet, that was something I always wanted to show people this pass set. Like I can kick with them. I can kick with the best of them. So, and then I was told, I was kind of brought in the coach's office. He was like, "You ever thought about playing guard?" I was like, I've done it in the past, but at a college level in the game, no, I haven't thought of it. And when I started, and that's when it kind of clicked for me. Like it was sort of like everything's in front of me, it just happens quicker. And I loved it ever since. Guard is in my position, in my opinion, I'm a little biased because I am a guard. I feel like it's one of the best positions on the field. It's a very underrated position in terms of the grand scheme of things. It's not a sexy, glorious position. It's not going to be talked about.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But guard is fantastic. I mean, I love it. I love being a guard. Even, I can play some center. I can play tackle. So just knowing all 5 is, I would tell every lineman, learn all 5. Even if you're 6'1", 290, learn all 5. Just, you never know. You never know when that experience or what you could use for it. So.
That's awesome. So Kobe, before I go on to the last segment, which we're going to be, well, not last segment, but second to last, we're going to be talking about draft, but I have some comments here that I have to show you. We're seeing them right now, and I have to share them with you because they're coming in really good. So we have Mimi Martinez. She says, love you, Kobe. And then keep doing your thing. So shout out. And then we have a couple, we have Jerry Russell here. And then we've got Renzo Baynes. And it looks like Auntie's watching. So
Heck yeah.
Shout out to them. Thank you guys.
yeah,
the
so
family.
you got some supporters here, and we appreciate them for watching. And honestly, Kobe, you're a special person that we're getting an opportunity to get to know. And this is, again, what we love to do is hearing your passion, but also getting to know you as a person too. So we appreciate you giving us your time. So we're going to dive into the draft process now. So what offensive scheme do you think fits you best?
I would say a gap scheme, downhill attack, but I'm not a guy that's gonna, label myself in one. I feel like I could play at anything. Y zone was kind of my bread and butter growing up. That was something when I ran a lot in high school. When I was at Louisville, we were notoriously known for running Y zone out of the pistol. And so when I got to Kansas, we kind of did it all. We did Y zone, we did gap, we did tight zone. We ran a lot of counter. For me, any chance I get to pull, I'm happy with, whether that be in counter, power, in any situation, or duo. Duo is another thing I like to run, two combination blocking scheme where, I'm in a double team majority of the time. I don't mind getting my head in there. Like I said, any scheme really, but preferably a gap, downhill attack.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that kind of takes my next question where I was going to ask zone or gap. So I'm going to pivot off of that one. And I've always wondered when watching, but what's it like trying to block for, the mobile quarterbacks like with Bean? Bean might be one of the fastest quarterbacks I've just ever seen. And then we know JD6 is also athletic. So what does it take and what goes into blocking for athletic dudes like that where, plays will probably get extended and whatnot?
I always call JD the Magic Man because JD was one of my favorite. Him and Bean, they did such a good job of extending plays, and I remember when one of the transfers first came in and we're talking, I was like, just keep blocking. Like I'm telling you, trust it. Just keep blocking, even if it seems like he's holding the ball for a long time. Trust it, because he's gonna make something shake. And just I would say for me, just knowing that the play's never dead until you hear the whistle. Here's a trick that I used to always do was if I'm playing away and I hear cheers, that's normally bad. If I'm at home and if I hear cheers, I normally know it's good. So that was something I always, playing my back to the ball. And just playing, with an athletic quarterback, you have the dimension of plays and things you can do as an offense opens up so much. I haven't said I haven't played with a non-athletic quarterback. I've played with, Malik Cunningham at Louisville, Jason Bean, Jalen Daniels, Cole Ballard, Isaiah Marshall. These guys can flat out run, and they're athletic. They can throw it. So just knowing that the play's never dead.
So when you get that call on draft day and a team tells you, hey, you're coming here, what are they getting from you from day one?
I think they're getting a hard worker. They're getting somebody that's going to be in the room. I know that sounds cliche, but they're getting somebody that's going to go up and just be there. Regardless of the situation, I'm going to work through it. They're going to get somebody that's going to be a good teammate in the locker room. They're going to get somebody that's going to play hard, whistle, through the echoes of the whistle, and somebody that's willing to do whatever it takes to stay on the roster. I'll clean the seats on the plane. I'll pick up trash in the locker room. Whatever I have to do to stay around, that's something where, I don't have any ego in this sense. Like, football is the game, and I'm so blessed to play it at a high level, and I'm so blessed to be around people every day that play this game. So just knowing that I'm not taking any of this for granted.
Oof.
Kobe, my Raiders are going to love you on the team, so I can't wait to see you in
that
silver
on
and black.
Kobe. Don't put that on Kobe.
He's going to be tremendous blocking for Fernando Mendoza, so I can't wait to see it. Yeah. All right, so Kobe, what separates you from other guards in this draft class?
I just think my mentality. I think that, again, that sounds cliche, but I feel like my mentality of being a dog, and I know every guard is probably going to say that, right? And just really knowing that I understand the nuances of this game. Even if, I played on big stages. I played against some really good players, and I never took anything for granted. I never looked at a player from Wagner University versus Texas like they were different. To me, they were the same because the ball was down. We were getting ready to play a play, and so, for me, I would say what separates me is my mentality, and just being a hard worker, and just knowing that I'm an underdog and I know it, and I prefer it that way. That's why I like playing at Kansas, was because people would always doubt us. People would always come in the game thinking this was going to be a bye week, and when we would get out there and we would get up on people and knowing that we were going to bring our past with us, and we were going to hit people. And that's the best thing in football, is when somebody doubts you and you beat them, because the look on their face, it's remarkable. It's what I think that's why everybody likes to play this game, is because the joy that you get from beating somebody who in the media all week you're hearing is going to blow you out, going to smack you. It's so revealing.
No, about that. I love that. I'm ready to just put on the pads and go. But we're going to transition into, I think, second to last segment here, maybe. But we're going to go kind of to off-field and personality. This is one of our favorite parts with guests, kind of getting to know the man behind the helmet a little bit. So the first one is, who is Kobe Baynes off the field?
I'm a big film. I love watching film. That's something like not football film, like cinematic films. I also like watching film, but just I love watching movies, TV shows. I really have a passion for movies and cinematography specifically. That was something I did at Kansas. And just I like to play video games, but I also like to watch basketball as well. That's another passion of mine. But I would say films, movies, productions, TV shows. That's something I really love to do and watch. So
I've got a follow up to that, because we're all big movie buffs around here.
We probably have the same follow up, Cody.
Yeah. So I got a question that needs two answers. One, What is your favorite movie? And two, this one is more for me. What is your comfort movie? And they're two different ones. So what's your favorite? What's your comfort movie?
My favorite would be Pulp Fiction, or I would say There Will Be Blood.
It's a
My
good one.
comfort movie, I would say Rocky. I feel like Rocky is such a cozy film. I think the colors and the cinematography, especially the first one, just kind of just puts a blanket over you. It kind of just makes you it doesn't matter how many times you've seen Rocky. Whenever you watch it, you're just seeing this journey of somebody fighting through adversity, fighting through the challenges of the world. And he's doing everything he can to try to make it. And I think that we all can relate to Rocky in some sense.
That's a great example of a comfort film, only because of the story behind it of him. I think everyone knows that story where he had to sell his pet, unfortunately, to pay for the film. Once he got the money from the Academy and all that stuff, he was able to get his dog back. So it's a great movie every time you watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I know my mom's a Boomer Sooner fan, but I think you're back in her good graces because she loves Rocky. So you're rebounding pretty well there.
So you kind of talked about hobbies a little bit, so I'm going to pivot off something because it's basketball season now. KU's doing their thing. Are you jumping in the student section? How are you spending the time in Allen Fieldhouse?
I mean, when I went there, I was always going with the guys from the team. But if I could go again, I would love to be in the student section. I would love to just be in Allen Fieldhouse one more time. I mean, it's one of the greatest venues in all the sports. I tell everybody around me that I get a chance to. If you get a chance to watch a basketball game in Allen Fieldhouse, don't pass it up because it's electric. You almost like you go back in time a little bit when you watch a game there because it's not super sexy. It's not like these other, basketball arenas, but it has this lore, has this aura about it where it's just, you feel the greatness of all the players that have came through. Wilt Chamberlain, Paul Pierce. I mean, I can go all day naming, famous basketball players that played in that arena, and just, it's a fantastic venue. Shout out to the men's basketball team. Keep doing their thing. But, I love watching them. I'm a big basketball KU fan, so I love to see them continue doing their thing.
That's awesome.
It's been a while since we've even been talking about it. We need to get back there. We used to go to games all the time at Allen Fieldhouse. I was at one of the loudest games I'd ever been to. Was KU was ranked 1 and K-State was ranked 3. And then 2 nights later, Iowa State was ranked like 4. KU was still, and two of the loudest games I'd ever been to. And yeah, it just brings out, that electric atmosphere and honestly what college athletics is all about.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right, Kobe, what's the pregame music that's in your headphones right before you go?
So for me, I like a combination of like motivational music. I like Nipsey Hussle. I like, Nas. That's a big, somebody I like to listen to. But I also like to listen to a little bit of slow kind of, not slow jams, but almost like old school hip hop,
Boys to Men.
yeah. not on that level, but just old school hip hop like Nas, Jay-Z, Pete Rock, I like and then for me, sometimes I like to watch motivational video. There's a video by Jocko. It's called it's I forgot the name of it, but it's pretty much you say good, like in response to anything that's happened in your life. I'm pretty sure if you go on YouTube and look it up, it's like Pete Jocko good. And it's just a video of him talking about, okay, didn't get the promotion you wanted, good. Now I get a chance to show people why. And so I like to watch a lot of his videos. Jocko, Walter Goggins, he is a very motivational guy too. So just being around guys like that and watching them. So
No, I'm definitely going to look that up because right now I'm stuck on Kobe's motivational videos with the Mamba mentality. So
that's another good one too.
Yeah, that Mamba mentality series is different. I send that out at my day job all the time to get people motivated, and they're like, "Awesome, you sent this last week. You got anything else?" No need.
No,
but
job's not finished. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm also kind of a big foodie, so I'm curious. Well, what's your favorite meal, either game day or going through the grind or anything like that?
Okay, so game day, I'm a little. What's the word? I'm a little. I forgot the term.
Conservative?
Not conservative, but I have a little cup. Like I have to have certain things.
Okay.
So on game day, I don't eat too much. I know that sounds for an offensive lineman. That sounds very strange. My pregame meal consists of 2 chicken, like a scoop of rice, and a bunch of green beans or asparagus. For me, that's kind of like, I don't know why. I just got to have that. If I don't have it, I swear I feel off. I have to sit in the same spot on the bus every
Superstitious.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
If we're staying at a hotel, I always get the bed closest to the door. That's just something I've always done. For me, a personal favorite of mine is I love a good steak. Steak and potatoes. I feel like you can never go wrong with steak and potatoes. I mean, it's steak is so good.
Nothing else needs to be said.
Nothing else needs to be said.
What's funny is after we're done, for dinner, I'm cooking steak tonight. So, by the way, how do you like your steak cooked? This is very important.
I'm a medium well type of guy.
Okay.
I like a little medium well. I'll do a little medium rare sometimes, but I really like a medium well. And it has to be like for me. I don't really do a lot of A1 sauce or any of the sauces. I kind of just like it by itself.
Right.
And so I feel like the flavor that you get in the steak is, I feel like, in my opinion, some people you eat what you want, but I feel like some people like it with the sauce. But I really just love the natural flavor of the steak. And,
Yeah,
you're speaking to me right now.
I can't eat steak with A1 sauce. I know people do it. I can't do it. I mean, chimichurri sauce is different, but
yes,
you know what I mean. But not A1 sauce. That to me is like, don't ruin it. Like, what are you doing?
Cody, my QB1 eats it with ketchup, bro. Like, how do you think that makes me feel?
Wait, Mahomes eats it with ketchup?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
I know. It almost made me switch team. No, I'm kidding. No, that's funny you say that, because that's actually what we had for dinner tonight. Made up some ribeyes and potatoes and veggies. So yeah,
we're all on that good meal tonight. So
a little garlic butter on the steak. A little
compound butter is almost a must.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So before we get into our rapid fire questions, I got one more for you here in this segment. Is maybe what's one thing a teammate would say about you that most fans wouldn't know?
I would say I have a very funny personality in the locker room. I'm somebody where, people feel comfortable coming around. Like, we were notoriously known for in the locker room. The DBs would always come to our side, or the running backs, or wide receivers. Just go around and goof off, play around. And I think just having that, we had such a good bond at Kansas that it was such a good time to be around those guys. And it almost sucks. I'm done playing, and it's just I really just miss those guys, being around them, playing with them, goofing off with them every day. We would always shadow box Kobe Bryant, the cornerback,
Yeah.
the corner on the Atlanta Falcons. He was notoriously known for coming over there shadow boxing Dre Dorian. Shout out Dre, and shout out Mike Ford. Going over there and just shadow boxing them all freaking day, before practice, after practice, and just goofing off, playing around, and yeah, just hanging out with the guys. So
That's really cool. All right. It's time for the rapid fire. This is very important here, Kobe, because this has been great. So would you rather have a pancake block or a game-winning drive?
game-winning drive. Looks on the face. And it has to be away. If we're away and it's a game-winning drive, my favorite thing is to look in the stands, because you can see the clutches of victory come from them, and it's just like it's like a shocker to them, and it's just it's nothing's better than that. I will say that's a hard question to pick, either pancake for me, but yeah, game-winning drive, to go out there and win it.
You can always just say
answer.
getting a pancake on the game-winning drive.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Or that
too.
pancake block to spring Devin Neal for a game winner.
there it is.
Oh yeah, we had a couple. So not a game winner, but we had a couple. Me and him had a couple good plays together. So
No, I remember. I know what you're talking about. The one that sticks in my mind, and it's for KU basketball, but it was back in the Elijah Johnson days when they went into Ames, Iowa, and just obliterated Iowa State, and they just kept panning to the stands, and you would see literal tears, and just like they were seeing go. I don't know that. So like when you said that, that's what I thought of. I'm like, I know exactly the look he's talking about. But speaking of Ames, Iowa, because they have a pretty good basketball court, but what is the loudest stadium you've ever played in?
Ooh, I hate to give him credit. I really do. But I would say Bill Snyder Stadium.
I was hoping that wasn't it.
See, I thought it was either going to be that or BYU.
Yeah.
Stadium to the west. Or I would say BYU. BYU is a great venue. They have fantastic fans. They do such a great job of really packing that thing out. I would say it's a toss between either BYU or the team to the west. So
Yeah, Gross K-State.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So give us your favorite O-line drill that you're getting ready to go to. You're like, hell yeah, let's go.
Okay, so if any of my offensive line buddies are watching, they're probably going to disagree. But for me, it would be this, we call it the wave drill. It's almost like the coach is kind of waving you back and forth, and you're kind of just, you're going back and forth, pushing back and forth, and you do it for about 45 to 50 seconds. And for me, I used to always, Coach A did a drill where he said, okay, who wants to, one side splits up, so we would all split up, and we would say, put your best offensive lineman who has the best feet you think forward, right? And whoever has the best feet, him and the assistant O-line coach would then vote on it, and then that side who lost has to do push-ups. So for me, I'd always put myself forward, like, guys, I got this. And so that was a drill favorite of mine. Pulling drill too. Shout out to all the young guys on varsity on KU that had to hold the bag, because I was trying to come hit the bag as hard as I can. So
We got to get game ready.
You want to play, right? Like,
Yeah.
practice how you want to play. I'm coming through you.
oh yeah.
Be ready. All right. NFL player that you want to block for the most?
It's a good question. Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Derrick Henry, only because he's from Yulee, Florida. It's not too far from Jacksonville. He's somebody that I grew up, very idolizing, and seeing somebody from my area reach the heights that he did, it would be fantastic. Or Devin Neal.
There you go.
Devin freaking Neal, the real deal. He's
Lawrence.
he's one of the best teammates I've ever had in my life, and I just love being around him. I love blocking for him, and he always had the trust in us to get the job done. And so to block for him again would be amazing.
You hear that, Saints?
Yeah.
Do the right thing here.
You know what? Ashton Genty, though, he'd love to have a guy like you, though, pulling for him. So
he's a very good player. I mean, Ashton Genty is fantastic. I mean, he really excels in that downhill attack. So
right.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what he does.
I'm telling you, you're going to look great in silver and black. So
look, as long as my boy's in the pros, I won't complain, I guess. But I'm going to kind of have a second part question of that. Is there an NFL player you want to block? Like, do you just like go to bed being like, man, I wish I could line up against Chris Jones, or like have Myles Garrett line up right over me, or something like that?
I don't want to call any player out. They're all fantastic players. I would say Mason Graham, somebody I kind of want to go against. Jeffrey Simmons, I know I'd probably lose, but I mean, he's a test of how good your feet are and how can you balance out that power and the twitch that he has. But yeah, I would say either Mason Graham. I'm not gonna say the other guy on the other side of the Brown, number 95. I don't want I don't want no smoke with that guy.
No. And I get, and that's the competitive thing, right? Like, not necessarily calling them out, but like the competitive edge to you, right? Like, it doesn't matter who's lining up against you, right? Like, you're gonna do your thing. But I'm always curious if like there's always that one person you kind of wish you could kind of line up against and butt heads. So one last question in this segment. Just one word to describe your game.
I would say edgy. Like, in the sense of like, I fiend for contact. Like, I really want to hear some pads pop. I want to hear some contact.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to the sideline and I want to look at my helmet and I see it has a bunch of marks from the other team's face mask on it. And just hunt, just be like the Red October. Just go hunt, go get some people. Like, doesn't matter who we're playing, where we're playing, what time of the day. If we're playing on the moon or if we're playing in Jupiter, I don't really care. Like, I just want to play football. And so, for me, it's just, getting on attack.
It's my favorite answer I've ever heard. I love that.
Seriously. And this is going to be the last one for me. And kind of give us a message to NFL GMs who maybe, they watched it or see some of this.
I would say you're getting a player that's going to work hard. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this for the fame. I'm doing this because it's fun. I would play this game if I got nothing. You're getting somebody that is just who loves football, who wants to be in the locker room every day. Like, I want to just stay in the facility. I don't want to go home. Like that video of Ocho Cinco talking about living at the facility. I almost want to do that, but not to the actual extent. But I just want to be around that. Like, as a kid growing up watching NFL Network, like, I want to be in that locker room. I want to see the logo every day. It doesn't matter what logo it is. I just want to be in that area. I want to talk football all day, and it's something I'm obsessed with. So.
That's incredible. All right. Now, this is a little bit more. I'm actually surprised one of the brothers didn't put this on their name, but give us a message to the KU fans from your time playing and what their support meant to you.
I mean, first, I like to say they're the best fan base in the country. I'm a little biased, but KU fans are truly the best. I mean, the way they treat people, the way they uphold their community. I mean, just being in Lawrence, like going out to the store and people knowing who I am, and I'm just the right guard. Like, I'm not the quarterback. I'm not the star wide receiver. I'm just an offensive lineman. But to know people know who I am in the community, it speaks levels to it. And my family goes to Lawrence. They treat my family with such grace, and it's such a fantastic venue. The support that we get, the national brand. Like, if I'm in the airport wearing Kansas gear, I get a rock chalk, and it's just that it's like I tell people, it's a sleeping giant. It really is. KU is a fantastic place. It's a fantastic university. I'm getting my second degree from there. Like, it's a great place, great education. Chancellor Gerard, Travis Goff, our athletic director, Lance Leipold, they do such a great job of just making that place feel like home away from home. And being from Florida, I never really been to the Midwest in my life, and it was some place that I'm proud to always say I can go back to. I can always go I feel like if I could get on a flight right now and go to Lawrence, I could be at the facility all day and not worry about, being shushed or shooed away. Like, they embrace that, players coming back. And, I love Kansas. I love the fan base. I love just interacting with them. Whenever I can, I love KU. I love the school. I love the fans. They do such a great job.
Rock chalk, man.
Rock
Well
chalk
said.
all the way.
And I want you to know you're not just a right guard, man. You're Jayhawk family. Like, right guard, kicker, punter, long snapper, it don't matter, man. Jayhawk family.
Oh, yeah.
I was a giddy little kid when I told my brother, I'm like, dude, Kobe Baynes messaged me back and was like, he's going to give us some of his time. I was like a little kid on Christmas morning. So appreciate those kind words. Obviously, we're KU fans, so we can feel you kind of directly talking to us and part of that message. So I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but want to go more of not the player Kobe Baynes, but the man himself. Like, when teams draft you, because we see it a lot. There's a lot of off-field things these days, right? Who are they getting Kobe Baynes as a man in the locker room, as a teammate, in the community? What are teams going to be getting?
They're getting somebody that's willing to do whatever it takes to stay on the roster. But more importantly, you're getting somebody that was raised with great family values. Like I said, I'm not into the fast cars, the bling bling, the designer clothes. It's just not me. I mean, there's no problem with liking that. Do your thing, but that's just not who I am. I'm not somebody that thrives on my ego. I'm fine with being the bad guy in the room as long as they get to put a helmet on at the end of the day. You're getting somebody where I'm not gonna be in the hoopla of things. I'm not gonna be at a party just going crazy. Like, that's not me. I'm sorry. That's just that's not who I am. I'm not wired like that. I like to be quiet places. I like to chill. I like to just sit back and just watch movies, watch TV shows. So that's something that the nature of mine where I love football. This is what I want to do. Like, I watch football religiously. Like, every chance I get, I try to study players. I try to watch different techniques, and I just want to be around the game when I'm done. So,
yeah, I think I can speak for the fellows where sounds like one hell of a dude, just plain and simple. Not even trying to, like, what do kids call it, glaze these days? Like, just in general, just like one hell of a dude.
Yeah.
But I think Cody has one final question here.
Yeah, Kobe, got one last one, man. This has been a fun hour. I can't believe it's already been an hour. It's gone by super fast. But all right, let's manifest this, man. We got a draft night vision. What does that moment look like in your head?
To me, it looks like I have my family and friends around. I'm watching the draft, and I get you hear the infamous NFL draft loop go on, and I just whoever walks up on the stage says my name. That's just something I can just visualize. I can see, whatever team it is and whoever it is, I'm willing. They're getting somebody that's gonna bust their tail. Day in and day out. I'm gonna be the first one in the building. I guarantee it. Like, I used to have these races with JD trying to get in the building before he did. I've never beat him because I don't know how JD would do it. I did beat him a couple times, but majority of the times, him or Leighton Cure would always be the first ones in the building. So they're getting somebody that's going to be one of the first people in the building, and just be one of the last people to leave. So,
hear that, Chiefs?
Yeah.
Anyway, no.
And as we kind of wrap up here, first off, I do want to say thank you. You're one of the first draft prospects we've been able to have on our show, and we're kind of spoiled that it happened to be a KU guy. The next thing I do want to say is, as a lifelong KU fan who suffered through some of those, tough times, what you guys were able to do these last few years at KU has brought hope. It's brought joy back to Lawrence. I see how excited Lawrence is now for football Saturdays. It didn't used to be like that. It was never always like that, but you guys got there. You guys have set the foundation. You set kind of an expectation And I love seeing the guys putting in the work now, getting ready for this upcoming season. And you were a huge part of this. And I always want you to remember that no matter what people try to tell you about it, you were part of that team and part of the community that brought KU back up. And I know that I don't care about the wins and losses and what you guys were able to do. I could see it on game days. You guys were competing. You guys were busting your asses every game. So I, as a fan, want to thank you for kind of making KU football relative again and making it actually enjoyable to sit and watch. So I wish you nothing but success in your journey. We always pay attention to where our KU guys go. And I'm going to be watching where you end up. And it's only a matter of time before we see you out there. And I have full confidence that you're going to bust your ass and do what you need to do to get on that field. And I'm excited to see your journey. And I can't thank you enough for coming on here tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys allowing me to have this platform to speak. You know, I don't do this often. So just to have this platform and it being a chance to talk ball, you know, I enjoy this so much. Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Corey. Like, this has been great, you know. So I want to say thank you guys.
You'll always have a spot in this show whenever you want, man.
Always.
Yeah, man. We got 3 Kobe fans right now, man. You're a stellar human being, not just a football player, but a human. We're going to have you back talking some movies, man, because we're all movie buffs. So we'd love to hear what you got going on, man. But thank you again for joining us, dude. I cannot wait to see the journey. And I've got such high hopes for you being on the Raiders, man. I'm just manifesting it myself. So
yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you,
have a good
guys.
night, man. Thanks for joining.
Have a good one.
Dude, what a stellar guy. God, Kobe is such a great dude.
That's how we do it in Lawrence, man.
Yeah. I mean, now if there's ever a time for you to go to a game in Lawrence, that's a big reason why, man. I mean, they're part of it.
I was going to tell him KU's dominating basketball at halftime. So Darren Peterson got the 20 spot.
I'm sure he's got the score on. I can't imagine that he doesn't know that KU is absolutely putting a whooping on right now. So
yeah.
And too bad Caleb wasn't on. I'm sure he would have let Caleb know that KU basketball had him. What didn't they play this season? Is that right? Did KU and Vols play?
There's so much I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah, it's all kind of running together and whatnot. So again, thank you guys in the chat. I see Matt just popped in. Matt, love you. It's good to see you. You know, everyone kind of showing love and support in the chat tonight. Again, this is the whole reason we do this show, and I would do it all over again. We want to have that platform for these guys to get their voices out there and be seen from teams. You know, it's one of those things where what are we doing if we're not trying to do good? So that's kind of my thoughts on tonight. And I had a blast with this.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm a little biased with the whole KU, like it's fine, but I was obviously a fan of Kobe before this show as a football player, but now just in general, as a person, as a player, I was going to be rooting for him anyway, but I'll be rooting for him even more now. It's easy to cheer for guys like that, right? Not players like that, guys like that. So that's one of my favorite parts. We've said it before. We love getting to know these people, not only as players, but as people. And Kobe's, he was a special guest, special person, and I am excited to follow his journey.
Yeah. All right, fellas, let's go home. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching us here at West War Room Rivals. Please subscribe if you guys haven't. Follow us on all the social media platforms. You guys can see the @ down below. Also, too, please subscribe. Again, I said to the YouTube channel, hit up our subscribers, support them so they can support us continuously. So we got Vidite Coffee. Go to viditecoffee.com to get your coffee supply, which is the official coffee of the War Room. We are all, well, I'm a huge coffee drinker, so this is really my deal, not theirs, more or less. They're energy drinker guys. But also Rival Codes, visit rivalcodes.com, use Rivals10 to get 10% off your merch today. It is not just apparel, it is territory. And then Troy at Field Ops Kansas, the guys of the field marking. I was trying to just give Troy some praise. He's my fellow Raider fan and so go hit up Troy and the crew if you guys need any field markings for any sports leagues or events in the greater Kansas area. And also Angie at Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Thank you so much for your support and your sponsorship. They're day one supporters, so go support them as they are the War Room's banking of choice. And of course, the big daddy of them all, JBW Solutions. Visit jbwsolutionsllc.com today to get all safety compliance for everything OSHA, work-related, long-haul driving, I know that they're getting into more of the safety sector. So they're veteran-owned, community-driven, safety-focused. Jeff and the crew are great partners of us, and we love what Jeff has given us the opportunity to do. And that is why we've named the studio after the JBW Solutions organization, because they are someone that we are in belief of. They invested in Garrett Bowles' organization, as well as the DJ's organization when he was on for his children's book and the library program that his organization does as well. So thank you, JBW Solutions. All right, guys, do we have anything else?
Yeah, I see a nacho fries TikTok live tonight. No TikTok live tonight. We have some. We're going to regroup. We might do a live tomorrow. So there's no show tomorrow. We'll be back. Hopefully full squad next week when Dwayne Bowe joins the show. Mm-hmm. So again, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you guys come follow the TikTok West War Room Rivals, and we will make sure that we get you guys notified when we go live on TikTok.
That's right. Austin, when's Dwayne Bowe coming on?
Dwayne Bowe's coming on next Tuesday, the 24th, same time.
Nice. Chiefs legend. That's going to be a fun conversation. All right, guys, subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next episode.